welcome to this session. I'm Gianmario Cortese. I'm project manager and analyst working for Namirial SPA. Namirial SPA is mainly a qualified trust service provider operating in Europe, but also globally, because we have a lot of presence in Latin America and also in the Asian region. And what we do on a daily basis is let's say, transforming complex workflows in something that is digital and that is trusted. And we do this on a daily basis. Of course, how many of you are let's say, familiar with the EUDI wallet, the digital identity wallet concept? You can raise your hand. Okay, so what we are going to see today is basically how this new technology, the digital identity wallet, is actually what is the state of play of this new technology, what are the use cases, and of course we are linking that to the artificial intelligence. So to give you an idea, a digital identity wallet is basically something that a user can use to store and control personal data directly from their mobile devices. So what does this mean? That the user can have within his mobile phone, with his wallet application, a lot of data related to identification details, driving license, for instance, financial data, educational records, and so forth. The identity wallet supports a lot of interactions that goes from accessing private and public services to signing documents electronically. So within a digital identity wallet, there are two key elements. The first one is the so-called personal identification data, or PID. And this is the main identity within a digital identity wallet. It is very similar to a digital identity document, because digital identity document, it's identity document. Identity documents are issued by member states, and the PID will be exactly the same. The PID will be issued by member state following national regulations. So it has the same level of an identity document. And the second key element within the digital identity wallets are the attestation of attributes, the electronic attestation of attributes. To give you an idea of what an attribute is, following the definition contained within the EUDI regulation, the attribute is a feature, characteristic, or quality of a natural or legal person or of an entity. Now, putting together a set of attributes and combining them, we can create the attestation of attributes. And also, this attestation of attributes can be issued and stored within a digital identity wallet. Now, these electronic attestation of attributes are basically also called digital credentials. So we refer to these sets of key elements as digital credentials in general. As I said before, what are these digital credentials? Could be diplomas, licenses, personal data, legal entity data, certification, financial information, healthcare data, and so forth. Everything can be transformed within a digital credential and issued to a digital identity wallet. The most important thing is that all these data within the wallet are basically trustable, trusted, verifiable. Why? Because they are cryptographically signed, and this signature makes them tamper-proof, privacy preserving, and verifiable. Now, how does this work with the wallet? Basically, imagine a citizen downloading the application, following member state regulation. Of course, the user will get onboarded and will retrieve his PID, so their main identity. From these moments, the wallet will be valid because there is a trusted identity within his wallet, and he can use it. Then he can also obtain other digital credential, but at the end of the day, the main thing that the user can do is presenting those credentials to the service providers that will be out there. And we refer to these service providers as the relying parties. to give you an overview of what the timeline actually undergoing in Europe is, basically we are in the implementation phase of the EIDAS 2.0 regulation, and there are two important deadlines. The first one is the 24th of December 2026. By that date, member states in Europe will be mandated to provide to their citizens at least one digital identity wallet solution. And of course, all the different public authorities within a member state will be obliged to accept the wallet as a mean for as a mean of identification. And the second deadline is the 24th December 2027. By that deadline, key private entities in regulated sectors, such as financial institutions, such as entities operating in the healthcare sector, or in the health sector, or in the utility sector, energy, and so forth, will be obliged to accept the EUDI wallet for strong customer authentication during online identification processes. So it's something that it's not happening in several years, it's happening right now. And to understand the ecosystem, basically, the different actors within this ecosystem are displayed here. So we have, first of all, the wallet provider. So the wallet provider will be, let's say, set at member state level. So any member state can decide how many wallet provider will be in a country. But the important thing, and this is the rationale of the EIDAS regulation, the EIDAS 2.0 regulation, is that all the wallet solutions that will be accepted at member state level will be automatically be accepted also in other member states. That the missing pieces from the EIDAS 1.0 regulation. So we are, let's say, fostering interoperability in this way. Of course, we will have the user. User can be either a natural person, but as you can see, also a legal person, because the wallet is not only for citizens, it's also for businesses. Of course, there is some difference between the two solutions, because the wallet for citizens will be something more related to a mobile application, while the wallet for business will be something as a web application, right? Then we have the issuers. So we have talked about the PID provider, and then we have the qualified electronic attestation of absolute provider and the non-qualified ones. What is the difference? This one will be issued by qualified trust service providers, such as Namira, for instance. And how so? How can they do that? How can we do that? Basically, upon request of the user, we will access the authentic sources, so databases, systems or repositories that contains authentic attributes of individuals or of organization. And upon request of the user, we can collect those authentic attributes and transform these attributes in the qualified electronic attestation, and then issue this attestation to the wallet. Once the wallet has received all these digital credentials, they can present them to the different relying parties. Who are the relying parties? Basically, any organization could be a relying party. So public portal, the police, any company out there, financial institutions, any online platform, everyone. The only requirement is to be registered within the trusted framework of the EUDI wallet ecosystem, in order to have trusted transaction between trusted actors. So these are all the different use cases that have been tested and validated during the different projects that are ongoing in Europe. So through the wallet, it's possible to access governmental service, obtaining driving license, and present it, for instance, to rent a car. For payments, because financial institution can basically issue the so-called strong customer authentication credential to a wallet in order to let that wallet, so the user, to authorize a payment. For travel, access social security, education, organization ID, we have already talked about this, all the banking, signature, health, And the most last but not least, the age verification use case. This is considered as the killer application by a lot of European countries and around Europe by important stakeholders as the killer application for the EUDI wallet. Basically, obtaining a proof of age and then presenting the proof of age I'm over 18 to a website that offer, for instance, adult contents in order to access that website. So I'm not disclosing any other data about myself, just the fact that I'm over 18, for instance. And this is applicable to any of the different use cases. So as Namiral, we have developed this platform that contains all these different components that you can see here. So the mobile application, of course, but also the technology to interact with all the different EUDI wallets that will be out there. And the gateway so offers the possibility either to act as a verifier, so as a relying party, but also as an issuer, but also both roles, depends on the organization needs. The Wallet Studio, this is an administration console that will basically offer to have a much more user-friendly and streamlined management of all the interaction and operation that can be basically that can we operate within the EUDI wallet ecosystem. And as I said, also the solution for businesses, so the wallet for business. Just to give you an example, if we think about a digital onboarding process today, this is a very time-consuming process because the applicant has to consent to GDPR and accept terms and conditions. Then needs to undergo an an ID document verification. Then there is the identity proofing step, the email on phone number verification, data enrichment in case of missing attributes, anti-fraud checks. So, as I said, this is a very time-consuming process. With the EUDI wallet, so with a digital identity wallet, this process is completely streamlined. This is a paradigm shift because within my wallet, I will have an identity that has a level of assurance I identity. We talk about the PID issued by a member state. So it would be trusted, highly trusted. And of course, I've also trusted attributes that comes from authentic sources. So what the user has to do, scan the QR code, consent data sharing, consent the sharing of the request attributes by that relying party and complete the transaction. The process is streamlined. It can happen within a couple of minutes or also less than a couple of minutes. And this is also another practical example. Imagine John as an expatriate, moved to Milan from France. Okay, so imagine if John doesn't have a digital identity wallet. What does John have to do? Go to the bank office, present documentation, and then go back home, go back to the office. So the process is very time consuming. With the digital identity wallet, our friend John can basically access the bank website from his laptop, from anywhere he would like, choose to identify himself through the wallet, open the wallet, scan the QR code that is displayed on that website, consent the sharing of the requested attributes, and John is identified by the bank. So basically, he has to complete the process by accept terms and conditions and sign the document using the wallet as an authenticator method. And the job is done. The bank account is open. And now we come to the very hot topic of today. So basically, some months ago, as Namiral, we announced a pivot to becoming an AI first company. And this is not just, let's say, marketing slogan. This is actually a fundamental shift in our strategy because we are putting AI at the very center of our portfolio of products. So what does this mean? We are putting AI in our platforms, in our processes, in our services. So we go through from document generation and review to fraud detection to identity verification with the help of AI. And why we do this? Because maybe AI is nowadays, let's say, something that everyone uses based on a prompt and response model. This is not our approach, because what we are going to see today, but we are seeing what we're going to see tomorrow, but we are also seeing today, is basically the fact that there is a paradigm shift. We are moving from a prompt and response model where basically we ask and the machine answers to achieve what kind of operation. For instance, creating an itinerary for my holiday trip, or creating a response to a specific email. The model today is a passive model. I ask and the machine answers. As I said, we are seeing a paradigm shift because we are moving from what is a passive AI tools to active AI agents. So we are entering the so-called agentic economy. And our vision for this agentic era, agentic economy, is very, very simple. I can basically delegate an agent, and then the agent can interact with our portfolio products. We have actually validated this integration. These are some of the products contained within our portfolio product. We have validated the integration of AI agent and of the MCP, where MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. This is the actual standard to let an AI agent to interact with external tools or external data. And the results were extraordinary because through this integration, we have discovered a very important thing. And the important thing is a completely innovative approach. We can basically, our process orchestration becomes dynamic. This means that it's not more a linear workflow. Wallet, certified communication, signature. Through this integration, the process orchestration is dynamic. It can be there, it can basically adapt to different needs. And this is done by the agent itself, by connecting to the different product through the MCP server. So what we have at the end of the day, we have operations that are certified. Of course, when we have validated this idea, we, as we primarily deal with digital identity, digital trust, the most important problem of this new system, of this architecture, was about one simple question, and is, how can I trust this? How can I trust this AI agent? For instance, if an agent interacts with a bank or a governmental entity or any other company out there, how that entity be sure that is actually interacting with a trusted agent? And before that, how can that entity be sure that the agent was actually mandated by the user? And who is the user? Because what a trust service provider does is basically providing trust in the process, making everything accountable. So allocating responsibilities, being sure of all the process, of all the steps, who has done what, for what reason, with which permissions. And the answer was already within our know-how, because basically we deal on a daily basis with digital identity and digital trust. So we have the idea to also apply to this new infrastructure the same technology that we use for digital identity, for people and for businesses. So imagine what happens in the real world. Today, legal entities on a daily basis delegate authorities to specific individuals, for instance, to sign contracts, to make operations, approve transaction, but all on behalf of the organization within defined limit. For instance, Gianmario, from today you can sign contract for procurement contract to a maximum of 50,000 euro. This is our attorney that I can receive from my organization. And the same concept can be applied to AI agent, because AI agent can act, as we have seen, on behalf of a user of our entity. But the most important thing is that this AI agent needs and must operate only within the permission explicitly delegated to them. So how we can do this? We can do the three simple elements. First of all, an agent ID. So we need to be sure who is the agent. Then, of course, the agent must be delegated by user that is identified. So the first step is identify the user. Once the user is identified, it can delegate an agent that has an agent ID, so I know which agent is acting. And of course, within this delegation, the user needs to set the limits of the agent. So which are the responsibilities of the agent, which operation can operate and which operation cannot operate. So for instance, I can tell an agent to sign contract or to answer emails, but not to sign contracts, right? And then once we have all this, then the agent can execute the certified operation. So, and we come to the very wrap up of this session. So, one way we have identified in order to let the user identify himself, of course, is the EUDI wallet, because it has been designed to do so, to be secure, to handle digital identity that are trusted. So by combining EUDI wallet and the identity for the agent, we are basically responding to the most fundamental question: how to deal with this agentic economy. Only adding a layer of trust within the agentic economy, we can basically, the agentic economy can scale. Without this layer of trust, we don't know who is acting on which delegation, from who is basically originating this delegation. So we need this layer of trust. And to close this session, by combining the flexibility of AI agent with the security of the EUDI wallet, we are basically building something that is the core principle of this new infrastructure. Because only using a secure identity and agents that are, let's say, that are trusted, we can basically embrace this new paradigm shift and embrace this new era of digital interaction. Thank you for your attention.